So for the question, active listening is described as the best solution for poor listening skills. In what, if any, situations can you imagine being an adept active listener? So a situation I could imagine is when you're guiding someone, for example, psychologists, psychiatrists all do this all the time. However, it doesn't have to be only psychologists and professionals. It can be a situation in which you have to guide someone, help someone, giving advice, listening to someone with their problems, or in a situation in which they want an advice from you. That would be the first situation where I imagine active listening. Another situation I would imagine active listening skills would be in a situation where there is conflict resolution. For example, there has been a fight between two people, and there has to be a mediator between those two people, or even without a mediator. Active listening would help a lot in situations where there's fights, where there's misunderstandings, because when you listen to the other actively, then you would understand what they're trying to tell you, and why the fight evolved and developed. Because there was a lack of listening. So that would be another situation. Other situation could be customer service, for example. Well, you have to listen to what the customer wants, first of all, without imposing or thinking you're better off with that customer. So active listening to listen exactly what the customer wants, so that you know and how can you give that and provide that to the customer. Finally, another situation where active listening is required or could be really essential is when in medical services. For example, when you go to the doctors with a big pain, they would have to listen carefully to what is hurting, what symptoms you have. If they don't do active listening, then it's really basically impossible to find a diagnosis for that person. So active listening is very helpful in the medical field. For the other question of to what extent have technological advances like smartphones, laptops, tablet devices made it easier to communicate effectively in organizations, and to what extent have these advances made miscommunication more likely? So in the first situation, where technological advances have made it easier to communicate effectively in organizations, because thanks to technology, it's easier to communicate, whether it's through video conferencing, to messaging, to real-time collaborating. This makes it much easier to communicate with someone at the same time, even if they're not in person with you at all times. So it's easier to communicate with clients, customers. It has made it easier to work remotely, to communicate without the need of all the time traveling, so it avoids a lot of costs of moving around, and it has made it really easier for companies to extend their products to go all over the world, to go so it's made it easier to connect between each nation, different countries, different cities. So companies are expanding even more due to the technology advances. So even though it has all of these benefits of sharing documents, staying connected, and all other benefits, it has also increased miscommunication, because, for example, texting is not the same as calling. So through a text, you don't know the tone of the person, the way they want to get to that person. So the other person might misinterpret it or misunderstand the message, and can lead to a lot of problems because they lack context. It leads to misunderstandings. All these information of overload of messages, of emails, notifications can also cause many of the messages to be overlooked. So some of the messages can be missed, and the other person might think they're ignoring them when in reality they didn't even see it. So there's a lot of miscommunication and misunderstanding problems with technology as well.